On this episode 83. It is the 83rd. Oi, 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 oi. On episode 83 of the podcast, I'm going to talk about reaction videos briefly. Red heels and disappearances. So let's get into it. Everybody, let's just start it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition, another episode of the Luke Who's Talking podcast. How you doing out there? You going all right? You going all right, are you? Or you just like, whatever? Anyway, let's get into it. So, we'll talk very briefly about reaction videos. They're a bit lame. You think they're a bit lame? I think they're a bit lame. I think maybe it's more so the type of reaction video I've been seeing on the interwebs. But when you are watching a reaction video about something you know something about, my goodness, and whoever's on there is like, oh my God, this is wild. You just think it's sort of like, bro, I mean, people live sheltered lives, don't they? People live sheltered lives. Also, it's interesting that a lot of the reaction videos seem to be of Americans reacting to things. So is that just like a general thing that America is like sheltered, or they're like pretty, cozy, close within themselves? They're like a country within themselves. That's what I'm after. I don't know. It's interesting though, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah. It's just, you see reactions like somebody's like, oh, so-and-so listens to, a parent musician listens to, I don't know, John Farnham for the first time. They're like, oh my God, this guy. And you think he's like a washed up singer in here, like over here, and you're excited by him. Or specifically sports, like especially like with football, right? It's like, oh, American reacts to AFL when they're watching and like, oh my God, this game's crazy. And you're like, it's a game. I mean, I know about American sports. You're that sort of sheltered within yourself that you don't really know about sports that aren't in your, I don't know, anyway. Geez, that's a rant and a half, isn't it? But, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, isn't it? The videos people have reactions. Like, why would you watch a reaction video? Like, why would you watch somebody watching a video and going, "Wow, this video"? Like, the concept of watching somebody watch a video. Okay, how can I word this? Watching somebody react to a video they're watching. There you go. I'm like, is it that exciting? Apparently it is, because people watch them. Anyway, that's just a rant about reaction videos. They're a bit lame. There we go. We're going to say it. They're a bit lame. Hey, maybe you like them. If you do, that's your, I don't know, your prerogative. Anyway, yeah, let's get to the next story, which is interesting. It's interesting. Anyway, let's get to it. Excuse me. So I think this was last week. I went into Target, and while I was in there, I saw a gentleman. I'll say that. I saw a gentleman wearing a pair of red heels. A pair of red heels. And they had shorts on as well. But anyway, I was just thought, it's interesting. Have you ever seen that? I mean, it was... my initial thought was... like, oh, they're, because they're in the, I don't know why, I mean, they were in, like, the ladies' area. So, we might be getting into some more deep psychological things here. I mean, I don't know, whatever, but they're in the ladies' area, and I was like, yeah, My initial thought was like, they're just trying out they're like some sort of rep or whatever, and they're just trying out the shoes or whatever. So I flitted around wherever I need to flit, and I followed them out of store, and they still had the footwear on. Now, here's just a general thing though, right, with heels, is that they're loud. I'm like, they're loud. Oh, a clunk, clunk, clunk on the noise they make on the floor. Geez, they're loud. Like, why do people wear them? It's not like a stiletto. I mean, they weren't a stiletto where they have like a thin, huge heel. It was more like a block, sort of a low block sort of heel. And I had thoughts of Mrs. Doubtfire running through my head. But yeah, wow, I'm yawning. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it was an interesting thing to see. I guess like that's all I gotta say. I saw a red heels, saw a person wearing a pair. Where do I go from here? I don't know. Look, to be fair, I mean, you can get boots with heels on them, like the old cowboy boot and whatever else. They have heel on them, big ones. It's like okay, whatever. So it was interesting. So, oh yeah, righto. I'll ham this up on the podcast. Now I've said pretty much I saw a fella wearing heels in Target. Now I don't know where to go from there. There's not really much else to say. That's pretty much it. Don't really have many thoughts on it. Something different, something unusual. I guess that's all I've got to say. Well, yeah. Anyway, I'll move on to I don't know. I'll move on. There you go. Now, this next thing was happened. I don't know, on the weekend. Sunday, possibly. I'm not sure. Anyway, but it was interesting. It was unusual. Now I was on my bike. I was on my mountain bike down at there's sort of a big parklandy area, foresty area. We have just sort of on the in one of the suburbs on the outskirts of the city. And I was down there on my bike. Now I come up behind somebody. A lot of people get down there. They walk their dogs, run, whatever else. Anyway, I was coming up behind somebody who was. What were they doing? They were walking, but they had the active wear on, so they were walking, and they had now they had their headphones, earbuds in. Now I don't have a bell or anything on any of my bicycles, but what I would usually do if I'm getting up close to somebody, I just freewheel it, and I will slip past them at some point. Now this person, well, sometimes if you freewheel it, they'll hear the. So they'll move, or excuse me, if they have a dog, and you're freewheeling it, the dog will be like, "Oh, look at that," and the dog will stop or turn around to look at you, and then the person will see you're there, whatever else. So, I don't go like or don't make any noises or anything. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, so I was freewheeling it, and I went to go past this person, and they sort of moved over to the side where I was going, and they were like, "Oh," they were a bit startled, so a bit scared. And actually, they said, "Oh, you're scared me," in a bit of in a jocular way. I had a smile on my wrist, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Anyway, so I continued on. Now, I didn't go that far, but I thought, I might loop back around and just go back and just say to this person, I did apologise, but I thought more was needed, if that makes sense. I had a huge elaborate plan, in my head, and it didn't. Anyway, whatever. So I did a loop, and I went back to. I didn't go back to the area, but I went back to. I could see a lot of multiple ways this person could have gone. Anyway, so I went back to like the path, the end of the path that I overtook them on, and they disappeared. I couldn't see them anywhere. They just disappeared. They'd gone. So I went past them, right? Went down the track a little bit further. And I then did a quick loop back to, not exactly back to where I had saw them, but back to sort of like the end of the track, where I could see up the track, right? And yeah, they disappeared. They'd gone. Now I didn't go looking for them. I went back the way I wanted to, but I scanned the area brief quickly, and I didn't see this person. So this was only a few minutes, really, probably since I passed them to when I didn't see them, although it had disappeared. And I thought to myself, probably over elaborately, but I thought to myself, did that person exist purely for that instance? Did they exist just for me to go past them? Right. Did that person exist just for that moment? And if you want to then interact with that, you can't interact with that person again. They existed for that purpose, and then they no longer exist when you want to, engage or whatever with them. That person, they don't exist anymore. Maybe I'm completely overthinking it, but my thought was they exist. They existed just for that brief, 30 seconds, and then that's it. So maybe once I went past them and I looked back, they might have been gone instantly. I don't know, but it was just a really interesting thought, because I thought I'll go back and just have a bit. I wanted to go back and have a little bit of a chat or whatever. And they not that I went looking for them, but I would have been able to see them, I'd have thought, where I was, and they were gone, they had disappeared. So I was like, well, have they existed just for that purpose of me going past them and the startling happening, or what? Anyway, that was interesting, and an interesting subsequent thoughts about the existence of this person, and did they exist just for that? And that person actually isn't. I don't know. Anyway, I'm delusional. Let's wrap it up. Well, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up and all that jazzaroon. And I'll catch you in the next episode. What'll be 80? It'll be 84. So have a good week, good couple of weeks, a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next episode. See you, everybody. Bye.